All right, so welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into Ulta Beauty.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a company that you're clearly interested in, especially based on that Motley Fool article you sent over.
For sure.
A 28% stock drop from its high. I mean, that definitely catches the eye, right?
Yeah.
So is this like a warning sign? Or, is it the perfect chance to buy low? Let's see. What do you think?
Well, what I think is really interesting here is that the Motley Fool, they're a pretty respected financial resource.
Mm-hmm.
They actually issued an all-in buy alert for Ulta.
Wow.
I mean, that's a pretty rare move for them. Now, of course, we got to remember, we are not giving financial advice here.
Right.
This is more, just an analysis, something for us to kind of think about.
Okay, yeah, we want to understand what they're thinking, not just follow blindly. So before we even get into, why they're so bullish, let's just set the stage. You've been following Ulta for a while now. So what's their story in a nutshell?
So Ulta is unique because they're basically a one-stop shop for anything beauty.
Okay.
So we're talking cosmetics, we're talking skincare, hair care, even salon services.
Wow.
They've got it all, which of course is a huge draw for customers. And they've really grown too, over 1,400 stores nationwide. And during the pandemic, sales were like booming.
Really?
Oh yeah, up 66% between 2020 and 2022.
That is impressive. Pandemic performance was great, but then 2024 hit and things kind of changed, right? Is that what the Motley Fool is focusing?
Exactly. 2024 was a tough year for a lot of retailers, actually. Inflation kind of squeezed everyone's budget.
Right.
And especially for things like beauty products. Yeah. It's considered more discretionary spending.
Yeah, right.
So Ulta, they saw their comparable store sales growth plummet. I'm talking just 0.6% in the third quarter, down from a really strong 4.5% the year before.
Ooh.
And earnings per share down almost 6% in the first 9 months. Not good.
Okay, so that context is important. So the Motley Fool is basically saying, hey, ignore the recent slump. The future's bright. Are they overlooking some risks here? What makes them so optimistic?
Well, they point to a couple of things. First off, they believe, this slowdown is temporary.
Okay.
And Ulta's management seems to agree. They're pointing to a pretty strong holiday season as a sign that things are going to rebound.
Okay.
Plus, the beauty market itself, it's massive. Projected to hit $100 billion by 2023.
Wow.
And there's a lot of room for growth, especially as the population, gets older and Gen Z keeps spending on self-care.
So they're betting on a market rebound and Ulta being able to grab a bigger piece of that pie. How do they plan to do that? The article mentions some initiatives for 2025. What's first on the list?
Well, they're making a big push into wellness.
Okay.
And that's a market with even bigger potential than beauty, honestly. Think vitamins, supplements, maybe even fitness apparel or healthy snacks.
Okay, I get it.
It's all about going beyond just those traditional beauty products and tapping into this whole, holistic health trend that's happening.
Yeah, okay, wellness, it's definitely hot right now, but is Ulta really equipped for that? Their expertise is beauty, not necessarily, health and wellness. Why does the Motley Fool think they can pull this off?
Well, they're banking on Ulta being able to, use their existing strengths.
Okay.
They already have a huge customer base, 44 million members in their rewards program.
That's a lot.
And that's a gold mine of data, right? They can use that to personalize offers, recommend products, drive engagement, even in a new category.
That makes sense. It's always easier to sell new stuff to your existing customers, the ones that already trust you. What else is part of the plan?
So they're also really enhancing their digital strategy.
Okay.
They're going to be using their stores for online order fulfillment.
So faster delivery.
Yeah, faster delivery, lower shipping costs. It's a win-win for Ulta and the customer. And it helps them compete with those online giants like, Amazon.
Right. So they're basically becoming this hybrid online, offline retailer, using their stores as mini warehouses. That's pretty smart. And finally, they're going beyond the U.S., right?
Yep, they're eyeing international expansion.
Exciting.
Starting with Mexico in 2025. Mm-hmm. Mexico has a large and growing middle class, and they love beauty products. Plus, there's less competition there compared to some other international markets.
Interesting.
And their new CEO, Kecia Steelman, she was actually instrumental in shaping the strategy. So there's a lot of confidence in her ability to make it happen.
Okay, so a new CEO always brings a fresh perspective. So we've got wellness, digital, international expansion, all big moves, all risky. But what exactly is the Motley Fool seeing that maybe others are missing?
It all boils down to this.
Yeah.
They believe Ulta is undervalued right now.
Okay.
The stock is trading at 17 times its forward earnings, and that's lower than its 5-year average of 21. Basically, investors aren't really factoring in their potential for strong growth in the next few years.
Okay, just to clarify, forward earnings, that's basically what analysts predict the company will earn in the future, right?
Exactly.
And a lower price-to-earnings ratio, that could be a buying opportunity, but only if those earnings estimates are accurate.
Right. And if Ulta can actually execute on these initiatives and return to strong growth, their stock price could really take off. The Motley Fool is betting they can navigate the challenges and, capitalize on this opportunity.
So a bold prediction based on potential, not just current performance. Important to note, though, the market, it doesn't always follow logic.
Yep.
But that's what makes investing so interesting. It's not a guaranteed thing. You have to weigh the risks and, make your own call.
Absolutely. And there are definitely risks to consider. Their push into wellness, it's untested territory. International expansion always comes with challenges. And, the economy could worsen, and that could really hurt consumer spending.
Yeah, true. So it's this balancing act, potentially really lucrative, but no guarantees. Before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive, let's take a closer look at their expansion into wellness. What exactly does that look like? What are some potential pitfalls there?
Well, the specifics are still, being worked out, but it seems like they're aiming to become like this one-stop shop for, feeling good inside and out.
Okay.
This could mean offering vitamins and supplements, maybe even fitness apparel, healthy snacks, and maybe even like in-store consultations or workshops.
So they're really going all in on this concept, but does this really fit with Ulta's strengths? Are they really equipped to handle such a diverse range of products and services? That's something for you, the listener, to think about as we continue our deep dive.
It's a good question. Ulta's, their whole thing is beauty.
Yeah.
So branching out into wellness, it's definitely a risk. Can they really become the go-to place for like mascara and mindfulness? I don't know. We'll see. They're going to have to be super careful about what products they choose, making sure it all, fits with their brand and what customers expect from them.
Yeah, it can't just feel random, like a bunch of stuff thrown together. There needs to be a strategy there. What about their target market? Are they going after the same beauty-conscious shoppers who already love Ulta, or are they trying to attract a whole new group of customers?
That's a really important distinction. It could be smart to use their current customer base. Someone pops in for lipstick and, hey, they walk out with a new vitamin regimen. It's convenient. Plays into that impulse buy thing.
But do Ulta's customers actually want wellness products from them? I mean, that's something we can't say for sure, but it's something for you, the listener, to think about. Do you see Ulta as a credible source for wellness? Would you buy those products there?
That's a great point. They'll need to build trust in this new category, maybe by, partnering with established wellness brands or offering some kind of expert consultations in the store. Think of it this way. Ulta's got the people coming in, but they got to prove they know wellness too.
Speaking of people coming in, let's talk about their digital strategy. Every retailer is trying to figure out this online-offline balance. What's Ulta doing that's, worth noting?
One thing that really stuck out to me is they're using stores for online order fulfillment. Really smart way to use what they already have.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just relying on warehouses, they ship stuff directly from local stores. Faster delivery, lower costs.
So it's a faster, more efficient way to get products to customers, which is so important nowadays, right? Everyone wants things like right away, and it helps them keep up with those online giants like Amazon, who have really set a high bar for, how quickly you can get something delivered.
Exactly. They're making the line between online and offline shopping kind of blurry,
Yeah.
creating a better experience for the customer. And it works really well with their loyalty program, too. Imagine getting a notification. Hey, your order is ready for pickup at your local Ulta. Plus, here's a bonus discount for your next purchase. It's a win-win.
It's all about those little incentives that keep people coming back for more. Now, let's switch gears to international expansion. Mexico's their first target. Why Mexico? What makes it a good fit?
Well, a few reasons, actually. Mexico has a large and growing economy, a strong middle class, and they're spending more and more on beauty products. Plus, there's less competition there compared to some other countries they could expand into.
So less competition, more potential customers. That sounds promising. But expanding internationally always comes with its own set of challenges, right? What are some hurdles they might face?
Understanding cultural nuances is a big one. What are the beauty trends in Mexico? What are people's preferences? Will their current products and marketing work there, or will they have to, adapt things?
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like launching a whole new brand, even though it's the same company. They have to find that balance, keeping the brand consistent, but also tailoring their strategy to the specific culture.
Right, exactly. And we can't forget about logistics. Setting up a supply chain in a new country, that's a big deal. They'll have to find reliable suppliers, deal with customs regulations, make sure deliveries to stores are on time. A lot of moving pieces there.
It really makes you appreciate everything that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Every product on the shelf has a whole journey from where it's made to the customer's hands. Ulta has to figure out that journey in Mexico if they want to be successful.
absolutely. And then there's brand awareness. Ulta's a big name in the U.S., but nobody in Mexico knows them yet. Building that recognition takes time, effort, and a very specific marketing plan.
So it's a long game, not about quick wins. It's about establishing themselves in a new market. Speaking of the long game, let's go back to the Motley Fool. They talked about Ulta's valuation, saying that's a key reason they're so bullish. Can you break that down a bit more?
Sure. Valuation basically means like how much are investors willing to pay for each dollar of future earnings. Right now, Ulta's stock is trading at 17 times its forward earnings,
Okay.
which is lower than its 5-year average.
So the Motley Fool is saying that the market isn't factoring in Ulta's potential for growth. They think the stock is undervalued. And if Ulta delivers on its promises, the stock price could go up a lot.
Exactly. But remember, this is just one point of view. Valuation's complicated, and there are lots of ways to figure out what a company's worth. Always do your own research and understand, what assumptions are being made before making any investment decisions.
Right. We're here to explore the information, not tell you what to do. Now, one thing I found interesting was the new CEO, Kecia Steelman. The Motley Fool mentioned she played a big role in shaping Ulta's strategy. What do we know about her, and what kind of leadership style might she bring?
What's interesting about Steelman is she's been at Ulta for a long time,
Oh, really?
over a decade. She worked her way up, became chief operating officer, and now she's CEO.
So she knows the company inside and out. That's got to be valuable when you're trying to lead a big change like this.
For sure. She gets the culture that challenges the opportunities. And she's already proven she can drive growth during her time as COO.
Yeah, that experience is key, especially with all these big initiatives Ulta is taking on. Expanding into wellness, going international, figuring out the digital world. These are all complex things, and they need someone steady at the helm.
Totally agree. And it seems like Steelman has the vision and experience to guide them through these uncharted waters. She's focused on strategic planning, a collaborative leadership style, and a real commitment to innovation. She's already made an impact.
But even with a strong leader, there are always challenges. What are some bumps in the road they might hit?
Competition is a big one. The beauty and wellness industries are crowded. Lots of companies, big and small, fighting for market share. Ulta needs to keep finding ways to be different. Offer something special that keeps customers coming back.
They have to stay ahead of the trends, whether it's product trends, customer experience, or marketing. And we can't forget about the economy. That can have a huge effect on consumer spending, especially for things like beauty and wellness.
Exactly. A recession, or if inflation sticks around for too long, that could hurt their growth plans. They'll need to be flexible, able to adjust their strategy as things change.
So a lot depends on how well they execute, how they stay ahead of the competition, and how they adapt to the market. It's a reminder that investing is never a sure thing. There are always risks.
That's why it's so important to do your research, really understand the company, the industry, the risks, before you invest any money.
Right. We're not here to tell you what to do, but to give you the information you need to make your own informed choices. Now, let's dig a bit deeper into some specific challenges and opportunities that Ulta faces.
One big trend in both beauty and wellness is the demand for sustainable and ethical products. Customers are thinking more about the environment and social impact when they buy something, and they want brands that reflect their values.
So it's not just about looking and feeling good, it's about doing good too. How is Ulta responding to this?
They've been taking steps in the right direction. They've got more cruelty-free and vegan products, and they're working to reduce their environmental footprint.
But is it enough? Are they really backing up their words with actions, or is it just marketing? That's something for you, the listener, to consider. Do their actions match their words when it comes to sustainability and being ethical?
It's a valid question, and more investors are asking it. There's a growing movement toward ESG investing, which means considering environmental, social, and governance factors when choosing where to put your money.
So it's not just about making money, it's about making money in a way that aligns with your values. And companies that ignore those issues might find themselves losing investors who care about ESG.
Yeah, being a good corporate citizen is becoming a competitive advantage these days.
Now let's talk about another big trend. Technology. We're seeing technology merge with beauty and wellness, and it's leading to some really interesting innovations.
Absolutely. Imagine getting personalized skincare recommendations from AI, using augmented reality to try on makeup virtually, even at-home devices that give you professional-level beauty treatments.
It's like having a beauty consultant, a makeup artist, and a dermatologist all in your pocket.
Exactly. And these technologies are getting more sophisticated and easier to use every day.
So, is Ulta embracing this tech revolution? Are they using these innovations, or are they at risk of falling behind?
They are making some moves. They've launched a virtual try-on tool on their website, and they've teamed up with some tech companies to offer personalized beauty recommendations.
But are they moving fast enough? Tech changes so rapidly, they can't afford to get comfortable.
That's true. They've got to keep investing in these technologies and find new ways to make them part of how they do business.
It's not about keeping up with the competition, it's about staying ahead and offering customers the most cutting-edge experience. Now, before we finish this part of our deep dive, let's look closer at Ulta's focus on digital growth.
They've been putting a lot of resources into their online presence, making their website better, improving their mobile app, and really amping up their social media marketing.
But the online retail world is super competitive. How are they standing out from all those other e-commerce giants and smaller beauty brands, all fighting for attention?
One thing that sets them apart is their loyalty program, which we've talked about has a whopping 44 million members. They use data from this program to personalize offers, recommend products, and create a sense of community with their most loyal customers.
It's like a VIP club for beauty lovers.
Exactly. And they're also using their physical stores to their advantage online. Customers can pick up online orders in-store, which is super convenient. Plus, they're using stores as mini distribution centers, making delivery faster and more efficient.
So it's about blending online and offline, creating this seamless experience for the customer.
Exactly. And they're also getting into content creation, making videos, tutorials, and articles that provide value to their customers and establish them as, experts in the beauty and wellness space.
It's not just about selling products anymore. It's about building a brand, a community, a relationship with customers.
Absolutely. And in the digital world, that's more important than ever.
Now, as we move to the final part of our deep dive, let's consider the bigger picture of Ulta's story.
What do you mean?
Well, they're not just a company. They reflect how the world of consumers is changing. Their decisions, their successes, their struggles. It all tells us something about how we shop, how we view beauty and wellness, how we interact with brands.
That's a really interesting perspective. So analyzing Ulta means analyzing a cultural phenomenon, not just a business.
Exactly. And that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. It's not just numbers and stocks. It's about understanding what's shaping our world.
And with that in mind, let's dive into some of the broader trends that are impacting Ulta and the whole beauty and wellness world.
One of the biggest trends is the rise of the conscious consumer. People are more aware of how their shopping choices affect the world, and they're demanding more from brands.
Yeah, they're looking for transparency, authenticity, and a real commitment to social responsibility.
It's not just about what's in the product, but about the values and practices of the company behind it.
Exactly. And this is where Ulta has a real chance to shine.
How so?
By embracing sustainability, ethical sourcing, diversity, and inclusion, they can attract those conscious consumers and build a strong reputation as a company that does good.
They can partner with suppliers who share their values, support initiatives that empower women and marginalized communities, and use their platform to advocate for positive change.
It's about going beyond just making money and recognizing that business can be a force for good.
And nowadays, that message resonates with both consumers and investors.
Absolutely. Everyone wins.
Now let's talk about another major trend: personalization.
Consumers want experiences that are tailored to their individual needs and preferences.
And technology is making that possible in ways we couldn't have imagined just a few years ago.
Exactly. Personalized product recommendations, custom beauty routines, even beauty products designed specifically for you.
It's like having your own personal beauty expert.
Right. So how's Ulta handling this trend toward personalization?
They've made some progress. They've added personalization features on their website and mobile app and are using data from their loyalty program to tailor offers and recommendations.
But is that enough? The bar for personalization keeps getting higher, and they need to keep pushing the boundaries.
It's not just about offering a few personalized recommendations, it's about creating a truly individual experience that makes each customer feel special.
And that takes a deep understanding of data, technology, and human behavior.
Now, let's bring it back to the Motley Fool's analysis. They were pretty optimistic about Ulta, but they also acknowledged the risks.
Right. They highlighted the potential for strong growth, but cautioned that competition, the economy, and how well they execute their plans could all affect Ulta's future.
So a balanced view, acknowledging both the good and the bad.
Exactly. And that's the approach we should all take when considering any investment.
Don't get blinded by hype, but don't ignore the potential either.
Do your own research, understand the risks, and make decisions based on your investment goals and how much risk you're comfortable with.
Now, before we get to our final thoughts, let's touch on something the Motley Fool didn't mention directly, but I think it's worth thinking about.
What's that?
The potential impact of geopolitical events on Ulta's business.
Ah, yes. The world is becoming more unpredictable, and global events can affect even businesses that seem focused on the U.S.
Exactly. Think about supply chain disruptions, trade wars, political instability. These things could affect Ulta's ability to get products, manage costs, and operate smoothly.
So it's another layer of risk, especially as they expand internationally.
It reminds us that even the best plans can be disrupted by things outside our control.
But it's also a chance for companies like Ulta to show they're resilient, adaptable, and able to navigate uncertainty.
It's about being ready for anything and having backup plans.
Exactly. And that's valuable for any business.
Now let's shift to the human side of Ulta's story.
What do you mean?
We've talked numbers, strategies, and market trends, but Ulta is made up of people.
That's true. Employees, customers, suppliers, they all contribute to Ulta's success.
Right. So let's acknowledge that human element.
What are some key factors that create a good work environment at Ulta?
From what we see in employee reviews and industry reports, Ulta is known for its strong company culture, its focus on diversity and inclusion, and its commitment to employee development.
That's great to hear.
They offer competitive pay and benefits, plus opportunities for growth and advancement.
Sounds like they're creating a place where people feel valued and empowered.
Exactly. That's essential for attracting and keeping talented people, especially in such a competitive industry.
And it leads to a better experience for customers, too.
Definitely. Happy employees, happy customers.
And happy customers mean a successful business.
Now, what can we learn from Ulta's customers, their behavior, preferences, and feedback?
One thing that stands out is their loyalty.
Yeah, over 44 million members in their rewards program. That shows they're doing something right to keep people coming back.
What is it about Ulta that customers love?
Well, reviews and surveys tell us they like the wide selection of products, competitive prices, knowledgeable staff, and convenient locations.
They also appreciate the personalized experience Ulta offers, both online and in their stores.
Exactly. It's about feeling seen and understood, not just as a shopper, but as a person.
And Ulta does that really well.
Now let's consider Ulta's relationship with their suppliers. How do they ensure ethical sourcing and responsible manufacturing?
They have a supplier code of conduct that outlines their expectations for ethical behavior, fair labor practices, and environmental sustainability.
And they do audits to make sure suppliers are meeting those standards.
It's an ongoing process, always room for improvement.
But it's clear they're taking it seriously.
Now, going back to the Motley Fool's analysis, they highlighted Ulta's strong financials, but also acknowledged the risks that come with their growth strategy.
Yeah, they mentioned potential for more competition, a shaky economy, and challenges in executing their plans as things that could hurt Ulta's performance in the future.
A balanced view, recognizing both sides of the coin.
Exactly. And that's how we should all approach any investment opportunity.
Don't just buy into the hype, but don't dismiss the potential either.
Do your research, understand the risks, and make smart decisions based on your goals and how much risk you can handle.
Now, before we move to our final thoughts, let's talk about something the Motley Fool didn't explicitly cover, but it's important to consider.
What's that?
The potential impact of technological disruption on Ulta's business.
Ah, right. The world is changing so fast, and the beauty and wellness industries are no different.
New tech is popping up all the time, AI, virtual reality, and it's changing how we shop, how we experience beauty, how we think about wellness.
So, how is Ulta adapting to this tech revolution?
They've been making some moves, like we discussed. They've got some personalization features on their website and app. They've launched a virtual try-on tool, and they're trying out things like augmented reality and AI.
But are they moving fast enough? The pace of innovation is crazy. They can't afford to fall behind.
It's a valid concern. They'll need to keep investing in these technologies and find new ways to use them in their business.
It's not about just keeping up with everyone else. It's about staying ahead of the game and offering customers a truly cutting-edge experience.
And that takes a deep understanding of technology, a willingness to try new things, and a culture that encourages innovation.
Now, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's think about the bigger implications of Ulta's journey.
What do you mean?
Well, they're not just a company. They reflect how consumers are changing, their decisions, their wins, their losses. They tell us about how we shop, how we think about beauty and wellness, how we interact with brands.
That's a fascinating way to look at it. So, analyzing Ulta is analyzing a cultural phenomenon, not just a business.
Exactly. That's what makes this so interesting. It's not just about numbers and stocks. It's about understanding the forces shaping our world.
And with that in mind, let's explore some broader trends affecting Ulta and the entire beauty and wellness landscape.
One major trend is the rise of the conscious consumer. People are more aware of their shopping impact on the world and are demanding more from the brands they support.
They're looking for transparency, authenticity, and a real commitment to social responsibility.
So it's not just about looking and feeling good, it's about doing good too. How's Ulta responding to this shift?
They've taken steps in the right direction, expanding their cruelty-free and vegan product selection and implementing initiatives to reduce their environmental impact.
But is it enough? Are they truly walking the walk, or is it just clever marketing? That's for you, the listener, to ponder. Do their actions align with their words on sustainability and ethical practices?
That's a good question. And more investors are asking it these days. There's a growing movement towards ESG investing, which considers environmental, social, and governance factors in investment decisions.
So it's not just about profits anymore. It's about aligning investments with values. Companies lagging behind on these issues might lose investors who prioritize ESG principles.
Exactly. Being a good corporate citizen is becoming a competitive advantage.
Let's shift to another trend impacting Ulta: personalization.
Consumers increasingly want experiences tailored to their individual needs and preferences.
And technology is enabling that in unimaginable ways even a few years ago.
Imagine personalized product recommendations, custom beauty routines, even bespoke beauty products created just for you.
Like having a personal beauty consultant at your fingertips.
Precisely. So how is Ulta embracing this personalization trend?
They've made some strides. They've incorporated personalization features on their website and mobile app and are using data from their loyalty program to customize offers and recommendations.
But are they doing enough? The bar for personalization is constantly rising, and they must keep pushing the boundaries to remain competitive.
It's not just about offering a few personalized suggestions. It's about creating a truly individualized experience that makes each customer feel valued and understood.
That requires a deep understanding of data, technology, and human psychology.
Now let's circle back to the Motley Fool's analysis. They were generally positive about Ulta's prospects, but acknowledged the risks involved.
Right. They highlighted the potential for strong growth, but also cautioned that competition, economic volatility, and execution challenges could all impact Ulta's future performance.
A balanced perspective, recognizing both the potential and the pitfalls.
Precisely. That's the approach we should all take when evaluating any investment opportunity.
Don't get caught up in the hype, but don't dismiss the potential either.
Do your research, understand the risks, and make informed decisions based on your investment goals and risk tolerance.
Now, before we share our final thoughts, let's briefly touch on something not explicitly mentioned in the Motley Fool's analysis, but worth considering.
What's that?
The potential impact of shifting social values on Ulta's business.
Ah, yes. The cultural landscape is ever evolving, and companies need to adapt to remain relevant and appealing to their target audience. What social values do you think could impact Ulta?
Well, one that comes to mind is the growing emphasis on inclusivity and diversity. Consumers increasingly expect brands to represent a wider range of skin tones, body types, and identities.
So it's not just about selling products, it's about promoting acceptance and representation.
Exactly. Ulta has made progress in this area. They've expanded their foundation and concealer shade ranges, featured more diverse models in their marketing, and been vocal about their commitment to inclusivity.
But there's always room for improvement.
Absolutely. It's an ongoing process. They need to listen to their customers, engage with diverse communities, and ensure their actions align with their words.
It's also worth noting that social values can vary significantly across cultures and demographics.
As Ulta expands internationally, they'll need to be mindful of these nuances and tailor their approach accordingly.
What works in one market might not resonate in another.
Let's discuss another increasingly important social value: authenticity.
Consumers are tired of airbrushed images and unrealistic beauty standards.
They seek brands that are genuine, relatable, and transparent.
So it's not just about selling products, but connecting with customers based on shared values and authentic experiences.
Exactly. And Ulta has experimented with this.
They've featured more real people in their marketing, partnered with influencers who advocate for body positivity and self-acceptance, and been more open about their behind-the-scenes operations.
But again, there's always room for growth.
It's a continuous process of learning, adapting, and evolving to meet changing customer needs and expectations.
Now, as we conclude this segment of our deep dive, let's acknowledge the complexities of Ulta's journey.
They operate in a dynamic industry, facing constant change and disruption.
They're making bold moves, taking risks, and striving to stay ahead of the curve.
They're doing all this while navigating evolving consumer preferences, social values, and technological advancements.
It's a lot to manage.
But it's also an incredibly exciting time to be part of this industry.
The possibilities are limitless.
Companies like Ulta, willing to embrace change and innovation, are well-positioned to thrive in this new era.
Now, before we move on to our final thoughts, let's address something not explicitly mentioned in the Motley Fool's analysis, but worth pondering.
What's that?
The potential impact of economic inequality on Ulta's business.
Ah, yes. The gap between the rich and poor is widening in many parts of the world, and this could significantly impact consumer spending patterns.
Exactly. Ulta's target market is primarily middle to upper income consumers, so they're somewhat insulated from the effects of economic inequality.
But it's still a factor to consider, especially as they expand into new markets with different economic realities.
They'll need to be mindful of price sensitivity, offer products appealing to a range of budgets, and potentially adjust their marketing strategies to resonate with consumers feeling the pinch of economic inequality.
It's a reminder that even the most successful businesses are not immune to broader social and economic forces.
Now, let's turn our attention to Ulta's competitive landscape.
They face competition from all sides: department stores, drugstores, online retailers, and even direct-to-consumer brands.
How do they stay ahead of the curve and maintain their market share?
They have a few key advantages. First, their one-stop shop model is incredibly appealing to customers seeking convenience and a wide selection.
Second, their loyalty program is a powerful tool for driving repeat business and fostering customer engagement.
Third, their focus on personalized experiences, both online and in-store, differentiates them from many competitors.
And fourth, their commitment to diversity and inclusion resonates with an increasingly conscious consumer base.
They have a lot working in their favor.
But they can't afford to become complacent.
The beauty and wellness industries are constantly evolving, and new competitors are always emerging.
They need to remain agile, innovative, and customer-focused to maintain their leadership position in this dynamic market.
Now, as we transition to the final part of our deep dive, let's consider the long-term outlook for Ulta.
The Motley Fool presented a generally positive view, but acknowledged the inherent risks.
Right. They highlighted the potential for robust growth, but cautioned that competition, economic volatility, and execution challenges could all impact Ulta's future performance.
So a balanced perspective, recognizing both the opportunities and potential pitfalls.
Exactly. And that's the approach we should all adopt when evaluating any investment opportunity.
Don't get swept up in the hype, but don't dismiss the potential either.
Conduct thorough research, understand the risks, and make informed decisions aligned with your investment goals and risk tolerance.
And with that, let's conclude part 2 of our deep dive into Ulta Beauty. Wow, we've really dug deep into Ulta Beauty, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
From, their recent struggles to their, ambitious plans, we've really looked at everything that's shaping their future. So now it's time to, put it all together, right? What have we learned?
Exactly. We started with that Motley Fool all-in buy alert.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely caught your attention, and for good reason. Their bullish case is pretty interesting, but like we said before, it's super important to, go beyond just the headlines and understand their logic.
Right. They're basically saying, hey, the beauty market's going to rebound, Ulta's going to grab a big piece of that growth, and their stock is a steal right now. But as any seasoned investor knows, nothing's guaranteed, right?
Definitely not. And we talked about those risks, everything from, the challenges of expanding into new categories and countries to competition, and the fact that the economy could always take a turn for the worse. We even looked at the human side of things, like how Ulta treats its employees, how they interact with their customers and suppliers, and how important good leadership is, especially in a company this complex.
Okay, so big picture. What are the main takeaways from all this? What should our listeners be thinking about when it comes to Ulta and really the whole beauty and wellness industry?
Well, I think one big takeaway is that Ulta's at a turning point.
Yeah.
They've got some challenges for sure, but they're making some big moves to set themselves up for success down the road.
Their success is really going to hinge on how well they execute these plans, how they adapt to what customers want, and how they navigate the world of technology, which changes like every 5 minutes.
Yeah, and can't forget about social responsibility either. Customers want brands to share their values, and Ulta has a real chance to be a leader here.
By prioritizing sustainability, ethical sourcing, diversity, and inclusivity, they can appeal to those conscious consumers and build a solid reputation as a company that does good in the world.
Another takeaway, the line between beauty and wellness is getting blurrier.
Totally. Like Ulta moving into wellness is a perfect example of that. It'll be really interesting to see how they use what they're good at to make it in this new space.
And finally, investing is a marathon, not a sprint.
It's about always learning, adapting, and, seeking out new information.
And who knows, maybe this deep dive sparked a new interest or even a new investment idea for you.
Yeah, we definitely encourage you to keep exploring, keep learning, and, keep investing in yourself and your future.
And with that, we'll leave you with one last thought.
If you were sitting down with Ulta's CEO, Kecia Steelman, what's the one question you'd ask her about the future of the company?
Oh, that's a good one. I think I'd ask her what keeps her up at night. Like, what are her biggest hopes and fears for Ulta?
Or maybe, how she plans to balance growing the company with making sure it stays profitable and true to its values.
Yeah, that's a tough question, but it's definitely worth thinking about.
And it reminds us that even in the business world, the most exciting stories are the ones that haven't been fully written yet.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
We'll see you next time.